Good morning, Warriors.
Morning, sir.
We are lacking one member to have quorum, but we are authorized to discuss some items, and we can get the meeting started. We just cannot take action or take votes until the eighth vote gets here, but he is on his way. So I'm gonna call this meeting to order. It is the 8th of January, 2024, 11:40. I'm sorry?
January the 9th.
January the 9th, that's right, yes. Sorry about that. Me gusta el número 8, yo creo. So everybody please rise for the national anthem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Marshal, can we have roll call?
Yes, sir. American Legion, Post 59.
Present.
Mr. Agregano. Black Widow, Ms. Salinas. She's online.
Present.
Catholic War Veterans, Mr. Segovia.
Present.
Disabled American Veterans, Mr. Contreras. Not present. Korean War Veterans,
Present.
Mr. Sanchez. LULAC Veterans Council,
Present.
Marine Corps League. I just got off the phone, Mr. Alvarez, he's working his way over here, sir.
Okay.
South Texas, Afghanistan, and Iraqi Veterans. Mr. Lopez, present. Texas Military Department of Soldiers, Mr. Quijano, not present. Texas Veterans Commission, not present. VA Laredo Outpatient Clinic, Ms. Cabido. Valor, Mr. Geisler, not present. Veterans of Foreign Wars, not present. Mr. Garza from Webb County's Service Office, no.
Do we need one for quorum?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what I'm gonna do, Monsi, I did not, I asked, but I forgot you were online, and I think you have a request for a moment of silence, and at the same time, we can, we got some other, warriors that passed away, so I'm gonna ask everybody to rise for a moment of silence. Monsi, if you'd like to mention their names.
Ms. Salinas, would you like to say a few words?
There's not much that I know. I just know that it was Mr. Armando Velasco, and he was very involved in our community. He was there during Reads Across America, did a lot for that event. I think he's an instructor at United South for the Marines. So yeah, may he rest in peace. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Monsi. Thank you, you may be seated. So, we can hear comments from citizens at this time. And normally at the end of the meeting, I ask for the betterment of all our veterans and the welfare of our veterans. If anybody wants to speak about any and everything that will improve the quality of life of the veterans, we can do so at this time while we wait for Mr. Alvarez to show up so we can take on the items that are on the agenda. So anybody has anything to, as long as we don't have to vote on it.
Yes.
Mr. Lopez.
So, for the record, Gabriel Lopez. It has been brought to my attention that there is a homeless veteran staying at the Bethany House by the name of Lawrence Douglas. He has been enrolled in the City of Laredo Veterans Homeless Committee. So he is, he's also, we're keeping track of him, find out what can we do to help him.
What's the name again, sir?
Lawrence Douglas. And there's also another veteran that was called upon to see if we can track him down. Apparently, his name is John Ward. He was last seen December 12th, around that time frame. He has been gone missing. I had filed a report with the FBI. Apparently, they saw him going across to Mexico. And he's here. He's been here for about 12 years. But he's not from Laredo, but he does lives here. So the police report has been filed, and see if we can, if we hear from more from him, or if I hear anything, I'll report to you. So that is all.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else? Marshal, maybe for next year, I know that the city of Laredo has taken over the homeless home project that we've been discussing now for well over a year, and this committee, but I know other organizations have been discussing this homeless home issue for a long time. So maybe we can have an update report next meeting.
Yes, sir. I'll look into that. And you're talking about the tiny home project?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I know that the last update that we had was about,
A few months ago.
maybe about November, I think it was.
Yes.
And maybe, I know that we've been discussing this well, this particular issue has been discussed by many people for a long time. And I believe that we're very close to be able to make it happen, according to the last report or update that we had.
Yes. We had a representative from that organization that was here.
Right.
But I'll reach out to see what information they have for us. Sir, and we can do communication and announcements because we're not gonna vote on that. It's, we could carry on with that one. The next item.
So we have communications and announcements. Anybody that would like to make any announcements or any communications concerning the quality of life and welfare of our veterans?
Yes, Ms. Cavido is item number 1.
Hi, good morning. My name is Crystal Cavido. I'm representing the VA clinic. And just a couple announcements that I have is we do have a food drive coming up. Our next food drive is February 8th. I have submitted the dates for the entire year. So I do a food drive every 3 months. The next one will be February 8th. That has been approved. Once I get the the rest of the year, then I'll put that out for you guys. I did bring some flyers. They're there for the veterans. We'll send it out to all the organizations as well, and we'll post it on social media for those veterans to be aware. Food drive starts at 9 until supplies last.
I got a question asked by a veteran from the last food drive. And the question was, do they have to be registered with the VA clinic to be able to participate in that food drive?
No,
Or they can just show their driver's license that says veteran?
Yes, you could just show any veteran's ID, and you don't have to be registered with us.
There'd be no
Yeah.
problem. And that's basically what I told him, but I said, but I'll check on that.
Yes,
But that's a good time to nail them, and get them signed up.
yes.
Don't let them leave the parking lot until they're signed up. Huh?
Another of the announcements that I have is the VA now has Wi-Fi for all the veterans. At one point, veterans were asking for Wi-Fi, so it's now available for veterans to use the Wi-Fi. It's free for veterans or any visitors that we have. Our physical therapist left the beginning of December, so we don't have a physical therapist. However, we have hired another one and is in the process of coming on board. I know that a lot of veterans had a complaint on not getting the service there and going out to the community. Starting 2 weeks from now, we'll have somebody that is doing the intake, and then we have Mr. Marin, which is our physical therapist assistant, to be able to do the actual treatment. But once the new physical therapist comes on board, it will take about a month before all the certifications and training. So, but we do have the service available again in our clinic. We have, just a reminder that we do have urgent care. There's a website where you could go. If you go to VA locations, you can see all the urgent cares. That's for any walk-ins or on the weekends or outside of the working hours that we have. You don't have to come to the facility to do a walk-in. If it's closer to you, an urgent care, you could go to the urgent care. Just show your ID, and it's completely free for any veterans, just as if you were doing a walk-in into our clinic. Again, it's for after hours or anytime if you just don't want to have that long wait when you come into the clinic. We do have the Ask the Lawyer, again, starting next week, January 6th, and it'll be every third Tuesday of the month for any veteran that qualifies for their services. They give legal advice on certain things. I'm not sure the background on that, but they are available as well. And Mr. Garza, I know everybody comes looking for Mr. Garza for the coffee and the drinks. He has now moved to the vending area because we actually do have a permanent volunteer service employee that is taking over that area, and she will be a greeter, kind of guide all the veterans. Mr. Garza is now on the vending machine with the coffee and the snacks and all that, where you could sit down and kind of just have that conversation instead of having it right there in the front. But we do have a permanent employee now that is a greeter that will help all veterans if they have any questions. And that's all that I have. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.
That's Mr. Joe Garza, right?
Joe Garza, yes.
Okay.
Any questions, any comments?
Urgent,
Thank you.
urgent care locations, ma'am? Is there a list or?
Yes, there is a list if you go online. I have a list printed out in the clinic. As soon as you walk in, you can grab it. But you could go online and just look for urgent care VA, VA.locations, and they'll give you, whether you're here or you're out of town, they'll give you anything that's contracted with the VA. Also pharmacies and doctors that are contracted, so you could go on there and check it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vito. Next item on the agenda by Catholic War Veterans representative about the Vietnam Veterans Plaza. Is that you, Widow?
Yes.
For the record, Jesus Segovia. The only thing I wanted to bring up is that, I don't know if you all have been by the Vietnam Veterans Plaza. There's 11 light poles up already, working. As you can see, the area has been trimmed down and cleaned a lot from the last time. The virtual lamp as a light, they're up already. And the benches are ready, and all the flag poles are, flying the flags. Haven't been by at night to check to see if they do have the lighting that was going to be provided, for the flags. But I'm sure that the poles that they installed, there's 11. Okay. The next thing that our councilman and John Orfila are going to do, they're going to by satellite, they're going to plot out the 28 sections where the trees are going to go, and following the irrigation. We need to have irrigation for the 28 trees. There's a little bit of discussion whether there's 27 or 28 veterans that from Laredo that died in Vietnam. Some say 27, some 28. I'm already on like 22 that I've been checking one by one to make sure that they are at the Vietnam Veterans Wall in Washington and that they are from Laredo. And should there be 27, the extra 28th tree is going to go to the MIA POW. Dedication for MIA POW on the 28th tree, if there happens to be only 27 veterans. I am going to request from our councilmen to see if they can build a Vietnam hoosh. Remember the hooshes out of carrizo. We have a lot of carrizo in the area, and my next project is going to be to see if there's a possibility of getting a Huey displayed there. There's a lot of empty area, in that park, where we can probably set up a Huey and also a 155 artillery piece out there. Hopefully, I can get help and get those two objects there at the park.
The next thing is gonna be to cover up the apostrophe on the Vietnam veterans, and also to paint it, you know? And that's gonna be with the new budget coming up for 2024. And also the soft top on the walking trail will be put on as soon as they finish all the construction, because the tractor, you know, the tractors and all those are going over the sidewalk, so we don't want it to get ruined. So once everything is done, then the soft top will go in there. And that's all I have for that project.
Thank you, Mr. Segovia. Any comments or any discussion? Thank you again, Mr. Segovia. Next item on the agenda, by South Texas, Afghanistan, and Iraq veterans representative to announce the Laredo Air Force Base project. Mr. Lopez?
Good morning. For the record, my name is Gabriel Lopez. So, I don't know if you all knew this or know this, but last December, last month, was the 50th anniversary of the closure of Laredo Base. And we closed in 1975. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to recover some of the lost history that was there. And some of the things that perhaps you know, well, some of you older folks may know this, but there was a group of people, of veterans, Air Force veterans, that decided to stay back when the base closed. There was about 50 veterans that decided to stay back, to stay here in Laredo. And if, again, trying to rescue some of the history of that, those were in 1975, that was a very rough time for everybody, but especially the airmen that were stationed here in Laredo. There was a lot of discrimination going on. Obviously, the airmen will mingle with the local women and whatnot, and the women were also discriminated. They even had a special name for the women. From the research that I've done, they were outcasts for going out with only airmen. Some of their families were, some of them were disowned by their families. So it's a very interesting history of part of Laredo. And so these people that stay back have made a huge impact into our community. Some of them stay here and became doctors, law enforcement, firefighters, educators. They really made a huge impact on our community, not only in Laredo, but in Webb County. Some of them became politicians. And so we want to recover that. And nobody has, from what I know, nobody has even attempted to even recognize these people and say, hey, thank you for your contributions to our city. So that's what we're trying to do. And we're going to do this in phases. First, we need to reach out to these folks. Most of them, the majority are dead, but we want to look up to their family members, and we want to recognize them publicly to say, hey, you know, they didn't have to stay, because when the base closed, as you all know, in the military, base closed, everything moves, everything goes. Either you get new orders, PCS, or you don't necessarily cut your career short to stay in Laredo. So that is the phase one, is to do an outreach, to do a campaign. I talked to about 12 of them that I know of. Some of them are very enthusiastic about this. Some of them want to see that recognition. Some of them are kind of shaky on that, and I can truly understand that. The majority of them are Caucasians. And like I said, that's why their history has to be rescued, because they were discriminated big time. It was these airmen. And in fact, if some of you know this, during those years, airmen from the base were not allowed to go outside the base by themselves. They have to use the buddy system. And I find it amazing that back then was imposed here in Laredo. And so for them to endure all that, and their family members, you know, their wives, like I said, they had a special name for the wives or the local women that would only go out with these airmen. They were used to call, and I'm not sure of the correct, I don't even know what it means, and nobody seems to know what it means, but they were called castereras. I don't know what it means, but they were outcasts. They were seen in a negative way. And these are the women that, you know, they stay with the partners and whatnot, and they're part of our Laredo history. So that's the phase one, is to outreach to these guys, find out what contributions they made to our community, and then publicly recognize them. Because it is part of our Laredo history. It is part of our veterans' contributions that they have made to our community. And that's what we're trying to do. And as this project gets off the ground, I will be asking for help as you know, for this, you know, awareness and whatnot. And then we'll see in the future how we can put this together to recognize this men who were so, they were discriminated, they were outcasts, but yet they decided to stay here in Laredo and made a positive contribution. So I will keep you posted on that.
Mr. Lopez, do you have a list of the people you recognize right now?
So far, I have a list. I don't have it with me, but yes, I do have a list, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The majority of them became law enforcement and educators.
Well, Mr. Lopez, you know, that is a very welcoming gesture that you just put forth, because the fact that Laredo Air Force Base was here in Laredo had a great impact in many different ways, like you mentioned. Economically, let's start there. When you have a large payroll like that impacting the community economic system, and then all of a sudden it's taken away, you're right, we went through some very, very hard times. My business is named because of the Laredo Air Force Base. That's why it's called JET. And we have a special plate that we provided for them, and it was an enchilada plate, a traditional enchilada plate with French fries and salad in the same plate. To this day, we still serve that plate that same way.
Awesome.
So when they left, it did leave a very negative economic-wise footprint in our economy here in Laredo and Webb County. So it is a great gesture, and whatever we can do to help you in this endeavor, just feel free to call us.
Certainly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. For the record, Mr. Alvarez is present, Marshal.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if somebody else came in.
No, that's,
This is not a member.
Yes,
I don't see that far, so.
It's a better-
It's a veteran, yeah. So we do have a quorum?
yes, sir, you do.
Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda, we have, by the American Legion Post 59 representative announcing the dedication of Independent Hills Park. Mr. Guerrero.
For the record, Alfredo Heredano. First of all, before I start on the item on my agenda, Mr. Chairman, I want to publicly thank Crystal and her staff at the VA clinic. This past Christmas, they were able to furnish to us 30 Christmas stockings that Commander Munoz and the American Legion Post 59 Honor Guard delivered to 30 veterans that are confined to the nursing homes. Now, hopefully, we can make this an annual event, and hopefully next year we can include the homebound veterans. I know that we have some homebound veterans that we might include for next year. So again, thank you, Crystal, and thank you, Stan, for the stockings that were provided to us. On my agenda, sir, Councilman Gonzalez and I got together last month, and we were discussing the Independence Hill Park renaming. But he has told me that because of legal matters, we cannot change the name of the park. So what they're gonna do, they're gonna dedicate a section of the park to the veterans. Now, what they're doing right now, they're working on that section. They're gonna build some palapas, they're gonna build some barbecue pits, and they're gonna put some benches. And once that is all done, said and done, we're gonna get together and we're gonna dedicate that section to the veterans. But as for now, they're still working on that.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
Good. Any questions or discussion? Thank you, Mr. Guerrero.
Thank you, sir.
Next item on the agenda, we have items for discussion and possible action. First item is discussion with possible action by Guadalupe Alvarez regarding the WBCA parade by asking for the Veterans Organization entries to be placed towards the front of the parade and to waive the entry fee and any matters incident thereto. I think that in this last parade, the first part of this, part of the agenda was taken care of. I'm not sure that the Veterans entries were towards the front, but Mr. Alvarez, go ahead.
Yes, I was trying to get a hold of the representative for the WBCA to come to the meeting. Obviously, it started already, and by the next meeting, it'll be already full swing.
Right.
I wanted them to come and on first hand let us know what the schedule was, number one. Number two, how we can place the parade. And we have a military, we have floats, and if we have representation from the veterans side, so they can tell us where we can be placed. Because veterans want to get it out of the way as soon as possible instead of having to wait at the end of the line and be separated the way we had been done before. Like I said, I was trying to get the representatives to come down and I couldn't get them to get down here. But that's what the discussion's about. And I'll let Mr. Jimenez know so he can post it, so we can all be on the same page. They do have a section in their schedule that places the veterans that can go into the air show free. But I wanted them to say it, I didn't want to say it for them. The veterans that can take their family, I don't know if the family would have to pay just the entry fee. But that's only one part of the WBCA, because they also have scheduled for the Jalapeno Festival, for the other dance festivals. They have the car show and the other festivals involved with the WBCA. Like I said, I'll get a hold of Mr. Jimenez and
I
get
made a
the
phone
schedule
call,
to him.
Mr. Alvarez. I spoke with a representative from WBCA, and she said that they're gonna have a meeting coming up very soon, that if we agree to ask, that's not guaranteed. It has to go through their committee, and they have to agree to it. But first, we need to agree that we're gonna ask for that. The beginning of the parade, there's gonna be the dignitaries, the politicians, and they're gonna put us, whoever veteran groups, right after them. So that way, at the staging area, they won't, our veterans won't have to wait so long. But it is not possible to be at the very beginning of the parade. But towards the front, yes. Towards the front. And that is possible.
I believe that last year that kind of started. I
Yes.
don't know how far to the front they were, but they were certainly not so far back and like it used to be.
Yes.
But there was a big change from that, but this seems to be even better. So what we need to do, what we need to accomplish with this item is to approve it so that you can go ahead and
Yes.
officially ask on our behalf to do that. Mr. Lopez?
Yeah, Gabriel Lopez for the record. Will it make more common sense, or it could be more appealing to the committee, to the WBC committee, if we just enter one entry rather than several for each organization? Because I'm sure, I don't know how much those entry cost.
It's $100 entry fee, but the way this works, that sometimes you have the Koreans, they have their own little section, and then you have other groups. So they're gonna put them together, but it's still different groups.
Okay, so, all right, so I was just looking at the economical
Right.
point of view for their sake, but
And they also want me to provide a list of how many groups are gonna be in the parade and which parade. So I'm gonna need that also.
The criteria is that they have to ask for it. If they don't ask for it,
And that's what we're gonna accomplish here by approving this item, then Marshall will be able to put it together, the city will be able.
I would have to provide a letter with the names of the groups, and then I'm gonna go to their meeting or give them the letter, and then they're gonna decide. We could only ask.
I know, is there any organizations here the veterans organizations that put a float or anything on the parade?
Mr. Sanchez used to be there before. I don't know if are you gonna participate? Are the Koreans gonna participate this time, Mr. Sanchez? No? Anyone?
there was a year,
Participate in the WBCA parade? Any veteran groups that you guys know of?
Yes, sir, the American Legion Post 59 Honor Guard is gonna provide a trailer.
Okay, so that's one.
Okay, Mr. Lopez?
Post 59?
And that's the Afghanistan, Iraq veterans? Okay, so I know the Vietnam veteran widow has always put one together. I know that he stepped out, but I know that they always do.
Mr. Lopez had one?
Yes,
Yes.
What's yours?
Sideline, South Texas, Afghanistan.
Okay. And Mr. Segovia, he stepped out? We'll ask, but I need to put him on that letter. So I need,
You need the actual name of the organization.
that's what she told me. She goes, I need the names.
And you,
I would just like to put any veteran group, but she said no. She said, I need the names, so.
well, they need that for the, yeah, and then for the announcers, you know, the TVs, and also to be able to identify each float and what it's about and things like that, so that's understandable. So, we need to be able to put out the word to all veterans service organizations that if they wanna participate by putting an entry on this year's parade, they need to contact the marshal with the intent that they, with a letter that they intend to participate and provide an entry in this year's parade.
We'll send a text in a little bit,
Right.
and maybe we could spread the word. So if you guys know anyone, that's a veterans group and is gonna participate. And
Deadline for that?
Mande?
A deadline?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you.
A deadline.
Oh, she said as soon as possible, before the end of this week, cause they're gonna be having their meeting.
Well, the parade is gonna be in, what, less than 5 weeks?
Right, but they have a meeting this week.
Yeah, so
They-
it's gonna have to be, pretty quick. So does that mean that, just for the record, that if they do not provide a name or information to you, Marshal, and they wanna participate in the parade, they might not be in the front, they might be at the rear or wherever they wanna put them.
And it might not be waived because I didn't get their name.
Right. Or they might not even be allowed.
So let's try to spread the word and see how many we could get in that letter.
So does everybody yes, sir?
I have a question.
Just come to the podium, please, sir.
Yes.
And identify yourself.
On the Marine Corps League. Just wanted to ask.
Can you come to the, so for the record?
Thank you. My name is Juan Lira. I'm a member of the Marine Corps League, and I want to thank Lupe Alvarez for inviting me to the meeting today. I just had a question about the initiative that's being discussed right now. In order to participate, does the group have to have a float, or can they just have members walking?
It's an entry. It doesn't have to be a float. Some
Okay.
people march, some people walk it, you know.
Right? Okay, good. Yeah, because that might be of interest to us, but I'll be glad to bring it up to our group.
Yes, sir.
But remember, we're in a very short leash right now, time period to be able to.
This week.
To participate that.
It's fine. Thank you.
Widow, we were discussing while you were out, an item having to do with the parade. Can you come up to the front, please? And I know that, the Vietnam veterans always, have an entry in the parade. And I know that last year, well, I know that last year that you all were put up towards the front. We're discussing an item right now to officially request from the WBCA organization that the veterans be placed to the front as much as possible. In turn, they're requesting that we provide a list of all veteran service organizations that will provide an entry so that they can approve it. Otherwise, we don't know where you're gonna be placed on the list of entries. So you're gonna provide an entry this year again, correct?
We haven't entered into the parade yet.
Okay.
Because the reason is that, the Laredo Veterans Coalition no longer exists. So
Right.
we're just, a group of veterans that meet every Friday, just, keep up, with what's happening. But as far as entering the parade, we don't have.
Okay, so the item on the agenda is to request officially from the WBCA that all veterans organizations that provide an entry be placed towards the front of the parade.
Oh, okay,
But we have to provide that information within the next 7 to 10 days.
Okay,
And if you don't provide that information to them, you don't know where you're gonna be placed.
that's right.
Okay, so that's why we're making sure that you understand that, because you were out. And
Okay.
we need to do that through the marshal.
Okay,
And as soon as you decide, your group or any group that you may know of, to reach out to me, okay?
okay.
So your group is undecided, the red shirt, that might work out, the group on Friday, or you don't think that's,
Red Shirt Friday, come out on the parade?
why not?
Why not? I'll bring it up, I'll bring it up on our Friday, our Friday's meeting, our Friday's coffee meeting. I'll bring it up as that to see if we can, first of all, we need to find somebody with a flatbed, you know, a trailer or something.
Yeah, and you don't really have to have a float. I mean, you can just organize,
Walk.
march or walk, I mean,
Uh,
as a group.
walk, march.
Yeah.
Come on.
I used to have that war wagon I used to provide, many years ago.
We're gonna need about 20 walkers.
The trailer is not a problem. I got a trailer.
Walkers.
That's what I meant, walkers. I didn't mean walking, I mean
If
walkers.
somebody can get us a golf carts, we'll be happy to go
Well,
out there.
anyway, this is just for information of everybody, because I know we do have a very good presence from the veteran, community in the
Okay.
parade, and we're trying to see, that all entries are towards the front of the parade instead of, scattered, and have them all kinda in a group.
Right,
So they can help each other.
yeah, that's
Right.
good. That's
The,
good. I know Mr. Sanchez always has
Yeah, but he doesn't know whether he's gonna have one this year or not either. But
that-
unfortunately, the WBCA representative are asking that we provide this list before the next meeting, and the next meeting is within the next 7 to 10 days.
oh, I'll get you an answer by Friday.
Yeah.
And,
When's the meeting?
It's next week, but she wants it,
They need to know confirmation
Well,
this
let's say
week,
by
so they can get
Friday.
it on their agenda for next week.
okay, I'll find a trailer or something, a flatbed, where we can at least be about 20 Richard Friday veterans,
Yeah,
Everybody wear red and, flag or whatever,
absolutely.
yeah.
Thank you.
very good.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion, questions? So everybody understands the motion, correct? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against nay. Motion passes. Thank you very much.
By
And
the
that-
way, I'm sorry, if we do come out on that parade, Richard Friday, we want, Crystal to be our leader.
She's already taken. You shouldn't have walked out.
She has to wear red. Not red fingernail polish.
We need a good picture of the trailer.
Yeah. The trailer is not a problem. So normally, and I had this earlier, any questions, any comments, or
Just,
any discussion on any possible information to improve the quality of life for our veterans before we adjourn?
just that part about, Mr. Jimenez,
Yes, sir?
just the part about the WBCA, if they have a free, entrance for the veterans at the air show,
Okay, I'll find out also.
stuff like that.
All
Whatever
those,
benefits the veterans are gonna get,
Okay,
to notify the veterans before the air show, before all, it all comes to down to the information being passed on to the veterans. If the veterans don't know about it, they won't go and they'll have to pay. I made the mistake of paying $15 to entry, then I got invited to the,
Tent.
to the, to the Afterburner Club. So, if I had known, I wouldn't have paid anything and saved $15.
okay. I will find out, sir.
any other discussion? All those in favor for adjourn?
Aye.
We are adjourned.